abusuafo ye mo bibia kwa ba. Abraham Amaliba one of the NDC legal team no. Opanya odi animu na in fact endra nurses binum ekọ demonstration and we na mo aware of that. Endra omodi ensem bi to dwa about 10 months salary enyambae wacha se nti na ma enibre abakrum na owura we ache na adwen afa ho sansona sansona DStv ho nsensemi wache na adwen e de afa ho na busia mempese ebekasa ho bebiwe ebekọ no yakwa koti nsema Abraham Amaliba editu idwa bro koshia TV3 ensem bia na omo ebobu ho na for comment tun na so kire wadwen efa sansem we ho yenti enseni bia ko ba ebeto so.
The saga between the minority and Sam George for me is mind-boggling.
Okay.
In Nigeria, you have citizens wanting their ministers to champion a cause for them they don't get, and the citizens themselves pour onto the street. In Ghana, you have a minister who believes, and all of us sitting here will believe so, that a multinational is milking the people and wants a reprieve for Ghanaians. You have Ghanaians rising up against the minister. I cannot understand what kind of people we are. Instead of us to support the man, he's gotten some things for us. People are saying that he didn't promise us that. He promised us this. What kind of people are we? That we are now supporting multinationals to, as it were, shortchange Ghanaians, and we are happy. There are some who are saying that that's not your business. That's not, what are we? What kind of people are we?
I mean, that's a conversation we've had before, and it's one that we'll have again.
If we had supported him, he would have gotten what he wanted for us.
Okay.
We didn't support him. We were on radio stations, TV stations. Hey, Sam George, that's not your what. So anybody can come and set up a company here and be milking Ghanaians because, and I heard people say that, oh, it's a private business. So what? Private business in a country must do things that will benefit the people.
Okay.
I don't know where Ghana is going. Oh, no.
Okay. I can now start with you.
Yes, start.
Okay, good. So, I mean, we've heard from the nurses who protested yesterday. We've also heard from the Minister of Health explain that they inherited a backlog, a significant number had been recruited, and they are still working on getting them onto the system. But what we know is that they've worked for 10 months, and I mean that young lady we all saw in the video speaking. I mean that video broke my heart. I mean she lives at Pantine and works at Kolebu. I mean Pantine to Kolebu. I mean it's not a healthy system that we are running. I mean things should be better. You agree?
It's a sad commentary on our governance system. It's a simple matter of, if you want to employ, put money aside to employ. If there's no money, don't employ. But we've had situations where governments employ people not because they need them to work, but for political gains. And so, leading up to elections, you find governments scrambling to employ people, but do not make available funds to cater for the people. In the past, these are the people that the governments would dismiss when they take over, when there's a new government. In the past, these are the people, because government will normally say that, but they've employed you guys, but they've not made financial provision. You know, it happened in the military in the past. When recruits were under training, they fired them. Teachers, they will sack you. When a similar thing was going to be done to this group of people, I think the president intervened and said they are Ghanaians, let's leave them. But nonetheless, the funding to pay them was not secured. They had financial clearance, that was right, under MPP. Then, my information from the ministry is that the MPP could not finish processing their documents to put them on the payroll, and they left the government. But more importantly, there was no funds put aside to cater for them. So if you look at the number 13,600 and 500, this government has processed 7,000.
To 8,000.
Huh?
7 to 8,000.
Okay. Okay. Has processed 7,000. Now, the finance ministry does not want to destabilize the current macroeconomic stability that we have. And let me admit, 13,500 is huge for a particular year. So, my information from the ministry is that they are doing them gradually, they will process them gradually and put them on the payroll. It's not like they have forgotten of them. But they are doing this, having at the back of them, their mind, not to destabilize the system that we are enjoying now, having come out from a poor, bad situation under the previous administration. So, I sympathize with them. I think that their cause is a good cause. They are sitting down for how many months? 10 months without salary is a very serious matter. As I speak, I've not taken my salary yet, but I'm not comparing myself to them. You even mentioned those who were just appointed to the presidency. Most of them have not taken their salary. Those who have taken their salaries are those whose institutions generate revenue, so they pay themselves.
GIFs.
IGF. But those of us who have to go to the controller have not been paid. As I said, have not been paid.
Yeah, but that's a big problem.
That's what I'm saying, that it is a soft commentary on our governance system. It has been so. In this day and age, where there's what do they call it, biometric registration, there's IA or AI. there's technology, digitalization. Why should anybody be made to go to work for 9 months, even 6 months, without taking his salary? Because, like I indicated, it's about input, output. In the private sector, before they employ, they will have secured the funds for new recruitments. And so, in the private sector, the first day you go, you take your salary. That month, you take your salary. So, it is a sad commentary on our entire governance system in terms of payment of salaries. And we need to fix this and fix it. Again, let's desist from engaging in political recruitments. There should be a law that says that between certain periods to elections, we cease recruitment. Because you don't know what the next government will come and do. You don't recruit people at that 11th hour when you have not made provisions for their payment. And I think that if we are able to do that, this type of things will not happen.
Let me come to Prof now, and Prof, he identifies the problem as a bigger general one that is taking place. I would want you to start off from what do we do in the interim if we have this situation and we can't pay them? Because the lady we had, I mean, we know the systemic problem. I don't get why she has to be going to work for 10 months. She's basically paying the country. And actually, someone actually called to tell us their salaries. They are paid, he said, 21, that's 2,121 cedis. So in the first place, even that amount, if you do the give and take of a transportation from Pantine to Kolebo already, if the money was even coming, it should be in negative. And it's not even coming. What do we do in that intervening period?
Thank you, Aka, and greetings to our viewers everywhere in the world. When I watched the video of the demonstration, what came to my mind was simple. And a word came to my mind. It said the phrase, the pause is part of the point in a civil service culture. So I was testing the pause of these individuals, the emotions that they were showing. And somebody living at Pantai, and she says she comes to Kolebu every day, and a week she spent, a day she spent 42 Ghana cedis. So 42 Ghana cedis, that means about 200 Ghana cedis in a week. That alone is going to give you about 800 Ghana cedis in a month. And after that, you will eat. Because man must eat, and woman must eat. You will eat. And that eating is also going to cost you not less than about 200. I know Gary Futor in Osu here, that is 150 Ghana cedis. Just Gary Futor with 2 eggs. It's 150 Ghana cedis. So food is also expensive in eating at Kolebu area. Plus, she will have to wear some dresses. She will have to put on cream. And if you look at that and a female working for that long and not being paid, then we have a big problem. So a couple of things. They said they go to school for 3 years, nursing school. They stayed home for 4 years, which is 7 years before they had a job. And getting the job to 8 months if not been paid. I have a big problem with the way our technocrats, especially controller, processes our payment system. AB talk about something that is important, which is HR, human resources. If people are working and you don't have the budget to pay them, then why do you hire them in the first place? Because nobody works for free. Nobody is Father Christmas to work for free. So the clearance, the financial clearance that they receive and then they recruit, once you are recruiting, then you know that you have the salary to pay the people, because a laborer deserves his or her wages. And if people are working and they are not being paid, right from the presidency, I know I have some friends who are advisors at the president, the vice president office, they've not been paid. AB talked about not being paid. That is an opening that we are having for corruption. So ask yourself, how is he going to survive? He's been in office, he's been the CEO for Ghana Road Safety, and he's not been paid for that long.
My wife feeds me, so...
Your wife feeds you?
Yeah.
So what about somebody who don't have a wife, or a nurse who don't have a boyfriend? So how are they going to feed them? But
no, I'm answering your question directly.
Okay.
Not to let you go on the tangent that I'm doing corruption.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that...
So let me clear the air.
Okay.
So
Thank you for clearing the air. That your wife... So your wife is doing a good job. You've got a good wife who is helping you. But it's not everybody who has got a wife. So what do we do as a system? In the first place, excuse me, we need to find a way of making budget available before we hire people. I also want to say that you don't hire people thinking that the other government will come and then pay them. We even have a situation where the outgoing government will raise salaries and then go thinking that the new government will come and somehow find money magically and then solve the problem. So why are we creating problems for the upcoming government? I know even when this government came, the supply of electricity, we had how many days? Less than a week. Yeah. I mean, how do you, if you are writing and handing over notes for me and everything is in shortage, thinking that I will come and magically solve the problem, it doesn't work that way. So the continuity of governance is a problem. 2, the technocrats and how they process the problem, the salaries, is a problem. You can't wait for 10 months without being paid. Everybody is living from paycheck to paycheck. The pay itself is inadequate. And for that delaying for 10 months, do you have to go and borrow? What do you have to do? And that is not good for the kind of system that we are building. I'm going to end this way. Empathy is key in such situation. And in empathy, think about that girl who said she comes from the Western region, but she's now at Brahafo region, I think Teshima or so. And her rent that she pays, she doesn't know anybody from that town. And she's staying there and I've been working for 10 months, has not been paid. I'm putting myself in the shoe of that lady. But I also saw 2 individuals talking about that lady who was crying about her rent. You know that this morning I've been told a lot of people have reached out to her and helped her with money. Another one came and talked about her rights. That I know my right, the minister is lying and nobody reached out to her to support her. So I know the empathy of Ghanaians that when you have such a situation, even your landlord or your landlady will understand that your salary has not come. So when it comes, then you come and pay. So we are that hospitable, but we should do all we can. The minister said that they met 13,500. 8,000 have been processed and 6,500 are being processed. They marched straight to the Minister of Finance They didn't meet the minister, they met the deputy minister of finance. He also assured them that they are working on it to get it paid. Then I am asking those at the controller general, even if they will do overtime, to make sure that these nurses are paid immediately. They should do so because it is very urgent.
Let me come to Austin now. And Austin, I mean, Prof, adds on and isolates the challenge specifically, but I want us to focus on the last minute recruitments. I mean, those who argue in support of it say that government is a continuum. I mean, the fact that we are in an election year, especially because of the long period it takes to complete the process. So in this case, we are told that they started in July, the clearance was in July, the adverts were in August, postings were completed in December, then we're supposed to start work in January. I mean, those who are in support will say that why should we have any freeze on recruitment simply because we are going to vote?
I think, those who are pushing for that argument are right. In a sense that, it is true that governments must work until the very last day in office. But upon closer examination of this issue, particularly the unpaid nurses, one root cause emerged, which AB, Prof, and yourself have hinted at. That is the last minute appointments and postings. I have been asking myself, I think we need to place or impose a statutory or constitutional duty on government that when there is a change of government, that because there should be a caveat. When there's a change of government, we must freeze up all appointments and postings. Or let me put it simply, employment into the public sector.
So that is after they have employed, you freeze it?
No. The thing is that there must be a statutory or constitutional imposition that where there is a change of government after December 7th or whatever date will be set in future, there must not be any appointment or posting. So it takes effect immediately after there's a change of government.
But what if the previous government employs before leaving?
So the idea is that it may be open to abuse, or there's likely for political parties or government parties in power to abuse that. But you see, Joseph, I've been asking myself, is the government benefiting from the services of these nurses? And by extension, are Ghanaians benefiting from their services? They've been working for close to 10 months. Have they been working for us? Are we benefiting from their services? So if we are comfortable taking their services, why are we comfortable not paying them? I think this government has no excuse because they had two options when they met the situation. First is to terminate their appointments because the issue is simple. If there's no capacity to engage their services, why employ them in the first place? The minute you employ them, it means that you need their services. And the moment they deliver, you must pay them because a worker is entitled to his or her just pay. The second is to retain them, and they chose to retain them. If you have done that, you have no excuse or basis to do that. I think we have succeeded in visiting cruelty on our own people. In fact, watching their faces while they marched through the principal street of Accra, I couldn't help but to feel deep sympathy for them. They are going through this because of the carelessness and irresponsible conduct of some public officials who knew from day one that these people have been employed and we did not have the financial capacity to accommodate them. Why allow them to work in the first place? And as we listened from the lady, we watched the video where she narrated and lamented about her ordeal. She is just one of many stories, many untold stories that we are even yet to know. Some are even sick. I've heard some people are even sick because they could not even call their relatives. And there was this particular nurse who said she's not in debt because she had been taking loans from her siblings and even friends. As this person, and one nurse, she calls them. They do not want to pick her calls because they know she's coming to what? Beg. I think, first of all, the government has no excuse. I listened to the minister. He must put his act together. I know he doesn't have the financial muscle. He doesn't have the decision. He cannot make that decision. He has to collaborate with the finance ministry. These two ministers must collaborate.
But to the extent that, I mean, we are learning AB and a lot of other public officers have also not been paid, and they've been able to onboard about 7,000 to 8,000. I mean, that shows that they are working towards
No, they are doing it. They are doing
No,
it would be fair to still say that the government has no
it anyway.
excuse, like you put it.
Joseph, we are saying that we don't want to give room to any excuses. We said whatever be the bureaucratic bottlenecks, government must make sure that they receive their just pay. I think I have said, and it bears a great and key reputation that this is cruelty. Okay. If you don't need their services, do not engage them. The moment you have engaged them, it means that you need their services. And I've said that from day one, these people have been working. And you had a lady, they are bathing patients, feeding them and doing all sorts of things. We are taking their services. So why are we comfortable taking their services? Yeah, we are the same people. These same people, we are comfortable not paying them. That is cruelty.
But I think the context of it is that it is not this government that hired them. No. The 13,500 came to me and they said they have worked on 8,000, which is more than half.
Prof, I'm saying that there's no excuse. The thing is that we have identified the root cause. All of us on this table, we've identified the root cause being last-minute appointment. And I have suggested that we need a statutory or constitutional provisions to serve as a freeze on last-minute appointment, particularly where there's a change of government. But I'm saying that you came to meet the situation. If you do not have the financial muscle, capacity to accommodate them, don't engage them. Prof, your school, I'm not sure you employ a lecturer when you know you don't have the financial clearance.
Yeah, you need a budget before you employ somebody. But I've talked about that.
Yeah, but then it comes back to how governments manage things. Because first, we are told that there was a clearance in July. In fact, the text that came in was that it expired once the financial year was complete, and it didn't happen.
Yes.
And so you clearly can blame the system more than even necessarily.
So that was the point the point that I was trying to make is that even in the advanced world, and I keep bringing that because of the best practices that I've observed, Trump can shut down federal workers that they will not be paid. And that is not right. So you have federal workers, even those at the airport, going to stay at home because there is a problem with governance. So governance can stand in the way of progress, which we should watch against. Now, having said that, I think that when we are recruiting and we don't have the budget, I agree with all of you. We shouldn't recruit at all. Because once you recruit me at the end of the month and you don't pay me, how do you expect me to buy fuel and come to work and eat and wear dresses and then you are not paying me? So it's morally, it's wrong that way. And that is why the Bible said, a laborer deserves his or her wages. I'm laboring for you. And why can't you pay me? But the challenge that I said we should put in perspective is that I have come to meet 13,500 people employed by the previous government and they've not been paid. Now I have been able within 9 months to process it according to the minister. When the minister was speaking and I heard people, some of these guys saying that it's a lie, it's a lie. I don't know. But I saw the demeanor of the minister, very humble, saying that we are working on it. We have processed 8,500 out of the 13,500. We are left to 6,500. And it's at the controller level being worked on. I was suspecting that after going to the Minister of Finance place, they should have gone to controller too. Because our technocrats sometimes, they cripple our hands. What are they doing that they can't process 6,500? If they need more people...
The thing is, you don't blame controller because the clearance must come from the Ministry of Finance.
So all of them are working in tandem. So what I'm saying is that the minister has come
from the ministry.
The minister has come to speak. They went to
the finance minister.
He's referring to the health
minister. They went to the deputy finance minister because the finance minister had trouble. So they spoke to the deputy finance minister. He also told them that when his bosses come, he will present everything to them and re-echo the same thing, that controller is working on that. So let's assume, and when he was saying that, some of the nurses said, "Obwa." You see, so it means that trust is a problem here, that they don't even believe that they are going to be paid. I think we should work on that kind of trust because there's a trust gap in everywhere, and that is not good. But my bottom line point is that when we are hiring people, we should make the clearance available, because the clearance first, the financial clearance first, before you hire them, and then when you hire them, there should be continuous of payment. Once there is a break, you demotivate the person even to work properly. And these nurses are working on our health. So if you go and they will not attend to you, the difference between life and death is in their hands. You can die easily. So I am pleading on behalf of these nurses They are our sisters, they are our brothers, they are our aunties, they are our mothers. The government should find wherever money is and pay them the gap of 10 months so that they can also get money to pay their bills.
Okay.
Maybe I'll give you the
I heard Powers say that if you don't have money, don't engage them.
It's simple.
But these people have already been engaged. It's not like this government is here to engage them. This government came and made them engaged. So they have already been engaged. The thing that would have happened was to dismiss them.
In fact, there are those who say that there are some individuals who you remember were recruited the last minute appointment. The government sacked all of them.
Exactly.
The alternative was to dismiss them. Like I can tell you, when you ask these nurses at that time to choose between dismissal and then can you wait for 1 year for us to pay you, they will choose the 1 year. They will do that. So, like I indicated, before I got in here, I spoke to an official at the ministries. They are saying that they have not abandoned the payment to them, but they are putting them on the system gradually. You can't put 13,500. So there was even, let me tell you something, there was even a consideration to have lawyers for all district assemblies. Lawyers for all district assemblies. But the government said that for now we can't pay. So let them not be employed yet. When funds are ready, then we can employ them. So I want the nurses to know that the ministry is working to put them on board. And that's why we have 8,000. I was saying somebody say 8,000. 8,000 people put on board. The government feels that if you put all of them on board, it will destabilize the economy. Now we are enjoying some stability. I heard inflation has come down some more again.
9.4.
So it's a bitter pill for them, but I'm begging them, and I think that Ministry of Finance should also do something extra to ensure that they put them on board. This is just a matter that can be resolved.
Okay, so let's see how the ministry deals with this one immediately, just to ensure that they get what is due them. Let's talk about Galamsey now, because at midday today, President John Dramani Mahama will be holding a very crucial meeting with a number of civil society organizations and interest groups. And we all saw that letter that was signed. It's dated actually 17th of September 2025 by the Secretary to the President, Dr. Callistus Mahama, in which he says, on the instructions of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, I am pleased to invite you to participate in a civil society organization engagement on illegal mining. This engagement aims to provide a platform for frank and constructive dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining, with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions to address this national challenge. Please accept the assurances of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President. And a number of groups, Catholic Bishops Conference, Christian Council of Ghana, Aricha Ghana, Imani Ghana, IDEC, CDD, a host of others all participating in this engagement. Let me start with you, Austin, in the middle. Good move, or you belong to the school of thought that believes that this is an admission that the government solutions are not working, or alternatively, the government just wants to bring everyone on board the plan?
No, Joseph, I think, keenly, this is a significant step forward in our anti-Galamsey fight. I think the government, the president has done well. I don't see this as an admission with regard to the weakness of government's plan. What remains unclear is the scope of the consultation layer, particularly how we are involving representatives of political parties, particularly, especially those in parliament and those outside parliament. Because I have argued before that any holistic approach must have their input. So I see this as a significant step. Look, the government should feel free to adopt ideas of CSOs, experts, and well-meaning Ghanaians. I cringe when government officials, take these lethargic steps, because when you adopt the ideas, it doesn't mean that, one, that you are weak or your birth of ideas. It only means one thing. It demonstrates strength. That is the strength of a listening government. Bear in mind, this anti-galamsey fight is not the duty of the government alone. It's a collective responsibility. We are all involved. So, I want to encourage the president. There's one thing to assemble all these fine brains under one roof to discuss the galamsey issue. And there's another thing, implementing the outcomes or the resolutions of that discussion. The government must be able to implement for us to see the outcome of that discussion. I'm hoping that we'll have a very, good conversation. Or the government will have good conversation with the CSOs. But Joseph, there's one critical thing that has always been on the table. The debate about the security zones versus
state of
emergency. And the government has declared our water bodies and forest reserves as security zones. But let me be clear with them. This will not solve the problem. A state of emergency properly so declared and managed will be more effective than what we are saying.
Why do you say so?
And it's simple. And you see, there's this, there's this misconception being peddled by some element that a declaration of a state of emergency automatically means the suspension of fundamental rights and freedoms. This is simply untrue.
Now, I want you to stay on the security zone first.
I'm coming. Allow me to drive home my point. I'm saying this because, you see, those peddling or pushing for this narrative are either misinformed or they are deliberately disinforming the public. Why am I saying this? The Constitution, the 1992 Constitution is clear. When you look at Article 3110, it sets out the principles governing a state of emergency declaration. And I have said, gone are the days where emergency powers under military rule were used to trample on rights. Under this dispensation, anything done under a state of emergency must meet constitutional test and be in the interest of the people. And what do I mean by the Constitution? It must meet proportionality, legality, and necessity.
Okay.
So those claiming that a state of emergency automatically means your rights are suspended, I mean, that's a far cry. Let's not.
Now, the question of why do you think the security zones is less effective?
Security zones, declaring those water bodies as security zones, one, is prone to corruption because the people you are deploying to go and even man the place, they are likely to be deceived by the people.
When you do a state of emergency, people will have to go and man the place still.
No, so that, and you see, the thing is that it is the notion and an understanding and the technicalities, the workings, the requirement of these two things. They are a security zone may be subsumed under a state of emergency, but you can't subsume a state of emergency under a security zone.
Yeah, but the substantive point is that people still go there. The corruption that you speak of, that's your first challenge. People will still go there and man the place.
That is, and the thing is that, you see, when you declare a state of emergency, the perception and the mindset of the people you are sending to those places matters.
Okay.
And you must make sure that you let them understand the weight of the situation we are dealing with. Joseph, let me tell you, when last the president met the media, you remember September 10th, 2025. The situation has worsened, has gone to an alarming level. Water stability level have shot up. We are talking about food crops being poisoned.
The stability level has reduced.
Being poisoned.
It has reduced rather.
Food crops being poisoned, and we are witnessing rising death toll on galamsey sites. I think this is not.
Okay, so aside from the corruption, what other reason makes it less effective, like you're arguing?
There's declaring those places as security zones. It's almost like what we are witnessing with that security zones, because those people will go there and leave the place.
Okay.
They will visit, they will do regular visits to those sites, and they will leave the place, they will abandon the site. How would this work and solve the problem? I think the government should not lose focus on declaring a state of emergency, and they should stop peddling the falsehood. They should stop peddling the falsehood. And I've heard many elephant and umbrella elements pushing this narrative. They should stop that. It's not true. With the current
Prof, I'll come to you, but
constitutional
let me come to...
it does not work.
Let me go to AB first. And before you deal with the issues that he's raised, I mean, the critics are saying that when they read the secretary say that they want to harness collective expertise... The secretary to the president, the letter that he wrote to the various groups. He says that the dialogue between the government and civil society on the menace of illegal mining with a view to harnessing collective expertise, perspectives, and solutions. They say that we've all talked about Galamsey for so long. Even last year, your political party, while campaigning, you said that the other government was not doing well, and that when you take over, in fact, some elements even said that within a week, the president can deal with the illegal mining menace. How are we harnessing after 8 months in office?
Have you realized that anybody you bring onto this table has a solution differently from another person?
Absolutely.
So don't you harness all of it? That's all. This your long winding question. I've used seconds to answer it.
but the fact remains that after 8 months.
Yes.
After 8 months.
Yes.
When you have, especially when just in fact a couple of weeks ago, the point was being made that we are on track. We are dealing with the menace. If you remember during the president's address, he says we've not finished utilizing the powers that we have. Then civil society
so
pressure
your problem is that why are we on track and then we are calling for that? Is that what you're asking?
Well, you can put it that way if you want, but the question still remains
so
about...
So if we are on track, we shouldn't ask for more. What do you say?
No, not necessarily. We can always do that.
Yeah, because the biggest room in the world is a room of improvement. So that's what. Now, see, this matter, 2 people or 5 people died yesterday at the Galamsey side. You would have thought that this would scare the Galamseyers from going back to that place. But they've seen this all. They've seen it. For them, you see, that community is an underground community. And they are in a well of themselves. It's an underground world. For them, they interpret those deaths to mean that the land, the soil, needs blood so that you can have more gold. It can produce more gold. So these are their colleagues who have sacrificed themselves. So you will never see the deaths occurring at the site being a disincentive for them to go back. They will still go back there. But I am happy because I think I was one of the leading people who said that we should declare water bodies and forest zones, security zones. I think I was one of the first and cited South Africa and said that in South Africa, water bodies are declared as security zones. Yes. So I'm happy that has happened. Those who are asking for powers for state of emergency, I'm going to give you an example. My father's house in Bolga is close to a dump called McLean Dump. Let's assume that they do Galamsey at the McLean Dump. This old man is like 84, 85. He can't even walk there to even view what is happening, let alone to participate. You create a state of emergency because his house is close to a dump, his rights are curtailed. Powers is saying that because under constitutional rule, you are restrained by the constitution. And so proportionality will prevail. When the soldier or the policeman is shooting, he doesn't care about proportionality. Before you come to court and you argue this proportionality, they have shot somebody, he's dead. That's what we are talking about. That under a state of emergency, people, and we are not pygmies, we don't live in the forest, we live away from the forest. This mining is taking place in the forest. How about those in the community who don't have anything to do with the forest? Why should the conduct of some people in the forest affect those in the communities? That's why we are restraining the use of this state of emergency. People will be caught up who have no business with these Galamsey things. But if you go and station soldiers, you create a barracks, or what do you call it? Is it a barracks? A camp at the mouth of the forest. Now, if you are a man, enter. That is the way to deal with it. Because your concern is not the entire community. Your concern is that forest area. Your concern is that water body area. So why would you extend any what do you want? What do you say? Any mishap to members of the community when there are some there, majority of them who are farmers, would have nothing to do. And if you know the Galamsey size, majority of those who are engaged there are from other parts of the country, and even from Burkina Faso, who are in that place. They are not indigenous. So please, Powers, this is your state of emergency. Let's think about it carefully before we zero in on it.
I mean, but the point he makes about, and it keeps coming up, whenever we have the conversation, there's an assumption that would mean that there will not be any due process, assuming there's a declaration of a state of emergency. Because, for instance, the example you gave about shooting, I don't think a state of emergency necessarily means that if you are moving in the area, they just shoot at you. It can't mean that.
I'm saying that when state of emergency is declared, people's fundamental human rights are curtailed.
In terms of movement.
Yes, in terms of movement. So why should that even be? Let's even assume that is it. Why should that even be? That my 85-year-old father, why should he be restrained from moving to go and get his medicines? It is not going to be, when you declare a state of emergency, it's not going to be work as usual or the usual things. Some fundamental human rights will be curtailed. And I'm saying that if that happens, people who are not connected to the Galamsey menace will be affected. We need to respect minority rights. If you are doing company law, if it's minority, you did it. You too. He has done it. If the entire community is doing Galamsey, but that one person's right must also be enjoyed, must be protected. So let's look at the issue of declaring, and I'm happy the Minister for Lands announced it. Forest zones, water bodies are now security zones. Let's see now who will go inside. And again, if you declare state of emergency, you people, journalists like this, you can't have free movement to even go and see. What if those who are engaged in the state of emergency are the ones who are even mining inside? Because you are blocked from coming in. Access.
In fact, someone also said that the security zones achieve the same thing because, a few years ago, they were told that people cannot protest around Jubilee because it was a security zone.
Yeah.
So the argument they make is that the same thing, we can't go and even check the state of the water body.
Why? That's your colleagues are there. Some of your colleagues are there. You are afraid. You are not doing that type of journalism.
We go there.
I'm saying that you are not the type of journalist, because people can go to the community, stay there, and know what is happening in the forest. They call them what? Manasseh Azor and what are they? Investigative journalists. At least we have those people who can go. But if you just do it, state of emergency,
we can go. Right?
Okay, let me come to Prof now. I mean, Prof, from a governance angle, very good meeting taking place today.
Yes. Let me say that be sure to tell everyone that Ghana's rare gold are not the ones in the ground. It is the people who are the gold. So you destroy water bodies in search of gold are destroying your people. The rare gold of our country is our people. And if we are destroying water bodies and poisoning our food, now we are told that kontomire, food crops, they are all poison, cabbages and carrots. And so very soon we are going to annihilate ourselves. We are all going to die because that is the path we decided to go in search of gold. Now, I like the question asked that the CEOs, the CSOs and all those coming in, will it bring finality to the issue of Galamsey? I think the answer is no, but it is a good attempt. I do that from Isaiah 1:18 when God said, "Come, let's reason together." Now, as a Christian, I had to go deeper into why God is calling everybody to come and let's reason together. And I found out that it was a divine invitation to discuss, debate, and find understanding through rational conversation, even amid profound disagreement. So if God is calling us to come and reason together, then it behooves on the president doing the right thing by calling all CSOs, say, come and let's reason together. Now, that is a divine invitation 2, we are going to discuss, we are going to debate, we are going to find understanding through rational conversation, even amid profound disagreements. So there are a lot of profound disagreements about which way should we go in solving it. Either we go with emergency, whether we go with security zones. Well, the Jubilee House here has been declared a security zone. You dare not go there. You know, now people can walk in there, but it was, even now it's a security zone.
It's still a security zone.
I have an invitation. I've been asked by a lot of people to come and visit them. Yes, they have to know at the gate who you are going to visit, and the person will come and meet you and take you there. Also, you have to go and sign your name, you know, and be given a tag, because it's a security zone. You know, they are protecting the presidency and our leaders. Now, I remember in the early 2000s, I was a morning show host on radio. And then, I'm bringing this example so that we'll understand the perspective of it. Then, that time, the biggest issue was Galamsey. No, the chainsaw operators in our woods. And I remember there is this uncle of Nanado called Nanaya Gorgisbeck. I think he's still there. He's an old man, but he was a council of state member appointed by Kufuor. Yeah, Gorgisbeck. So he came to me and then we talked. I went to the Tiwa forest with him because we had chainsaw operators. And then we went there, we talked about how we can stop these chainsaw operators from operating in that place. And I remember we went to our Chihine house, the palace and all those. But then the next day something occurred to me that if we can solve the problem, then why not bring the chainsaw operators themselves to the studio to talk about their part of the story? And you know, the funny thing is when I brought them, they said, we will never stop this chainsaw operation because that is our only source of livelihood. And if any forest commission person comes there, we will cut their head into pieces and cut their legs because that is the only way we survive. So now I'm asking the same question. Are we going to invite these Galamsey boys to be part of this meeting? We should. We should, because they are the ones directly involved in what they are doing. So they should tell us why they are doing it.
Invite criminals to partake?
No, there's a reason why I did that, and it solved the problem. You see, they are doing it every day, and no matter security zone, no matter the emergency, they will find a path to go and do the Galamsey. So let's bring them together and ask them, what can we do to help you to solve that? I've talked about alternative source of livelihood. Okay, alternative source of livelihood. They are not mining responsibly, but this country depends on gold. This whole country depends on these gold resources. Now, when they take the gold, the illegal Galamsey, ask me, where do they sell it? Don't they have routes that they sell it? Yeah. So it finds itself into the system. I don't know whether it goes to the gold board, whatever, but it finds itself into the system. Now, the government cannot drill boreholes for them because once they mine, I was thinking from the beginning that they will not mine go through water bodies and then by the roadside. Because we know from Osiam and Konongo areas there, the roadside are also being mined. Yeah. So avoid the roads and then avoid the water bodies. But then, when they, gather this sand and everything illegally, they also need water to wash it. And government cannot drill boreholes for them everywhere. So they will still go to the water bodies. And that is what we have to prevent. So let's find a way so that they can have one alternative sort of livelihood. Because if a nurse is not being paid for 10 months, and somebody goes to do Galamsey and every day you get about 500 cedis, of course he will do that. And we cannot solve this issue with violence. No. You can kill everybody, the rest who are still alive will go because they don't have any source of livelihood and man must eat. So we should find a way, jobs. From number 1 to 56, jobs. Let's find jobs for these guys so that they will find an alternative source of livelihood instead of going to the woods or the forest to mine. And I think that if you go to the Eastern African countries and they have the safaris, go to Tanzania, go to Kenya, nobody dares goes to, poach a lion or an elephant or anything because those are security zones. And the forest guards will shoot you and kill you. I watched in the Pygmies in Congo where there was a Dutch woman coming in there as an anthropologist to do research in the forest, the Congo Basin. And then the Pygmies are short people who are in the Congo Basins. And they put their ears to the ground. Civilization has changed a lot of things. So they put their ears to the ground and said that there is a poacher who tried to kill an elephant. The elephant is coming 5 miles away. So everybody should run. Now this woman decided not to run. All the Pygmies were running to find a hiding place. She climbed a tree. And then when the elephant is moving like that, because the elephant is distressed, everything gets down. It got to the tree, the elephant looked at the top and saw the woman and brought the woman down, pushed the tree down and stepped on the woman and killed her. But those who have lived there knows how to do it because if An elephant is coming and you pretend like you are dead. The elephant will use the ear to push you around. If you don't move, it will never step on you. They know how nature works. So these guys who are going to the bush, that is what they know how. It's like somebody born at the sea places. When I was at the University of Cape Coast, every day they go to the sea. The way they jump themselves to the sea, sometimes a week, 2 weeks they are there. And then when they come, the way they pull their net, that's all they know in their lives. So if you want to stop them from doing that, then you have to give them alternative source of livelihood. And that is what we've not been able to do. But to tell them that stop, and then they will not have anything to eat, then we are calling for armed robbery to increase, because they will find a way to eat. That's human nature. We always find a way to survive. So let's find alternative source of livelihood for these guys. I am saying that even if government do not invite them today to the CSO meetings, government should find a way to meet, focus groups of all these galamsey people and ask them, what can we do to help you so that you also stop? And I think that doing that, it will help a lot.
Okay. Let's do some messages and wrap up the conversation. This one here from Mansa Musa, you say that on the
I know him very well. He's at UK.
The excuses are getting too much. If state of emergency is not appropriate, then whatever it takes to make the situation better is what is required. That's all that needs to be done. And this one from landlord Borga D Line, you say that the law is being repealed, mining licenses granted to cronies are being revoked, forest and water bodies are now security zones. You have no right to complain when you have defecated on yourself and someone is wiping your mess. In my regards to my boss, Amaliba, Upper East region is proud of him. That is coming from Borga D Line. Musa Abatua here, you say that employment issues often arise during election years due to last-minute recruitments by government. A law should be enacted to prevent new public sector employments or appointments in election years to ensure fairness and financial discipline. And so that is your message as well there. Let's do a final round, and maybe I'll start with your direct question. What do you expect to happen, for which, if it happens, you say that the engagement that will take place today has been a success?
First and foremost, today should be the last time that we are convening to talk about galamsey. That today, if we distill the factors or the key issues, we should go into implementation, and then we want results. Don't forget the last government did one in Kumasi when the Asantehene told them that he knows all those who are doing the galamsey here.
Yes.
We can't continue doing conferences. Today should be the mother of all the conferences. And that when we arrive at a conclusion and we distill the issues, quickly we must begin to implement the decisions of the committee of this program. The other thing too is that we need to sing from the same hymn book, and that is why I think this conference is being called. So that if the government is not implementing, I don't want to hear a civil society sitting somewhere and criticizing. And the implementation should not be left to only government. Just as our government has brought all the civil society together, the implementation should also include them. That's for me. And then also lastly, there must be a political will to deal with the issue. And I hope this government would have it to deal with the issue. I am not saying that people who are seeking for jobs should not be given jobs. And that's why I concur with Prof's issue of alternative livelihoods. Because it is true that some people just know what they are doing as their job. And so if you don't provide them another, livelihood, it will be difficult for them to survive. So this for me are the things we should do. Last time we are meeting again on this matter, civil society organizations should now be part of the implementation of any decision taken. Civil society organizations should not begin to criticize when government is implementing those same issues. And then alternative livelihood for the people.
Okay. Austin, what are the benchmarks that you expect to be the yardstick that you assess this engagement?
Yeah, Joseph, I think I have said that this engagement is very important and significant, and I want to laud the president for this initiative. First, they must publish the resolution, the outcome of the meeting. I want the government to publish it so that all of us will track the progress. Secondly, the government must not end this engagement here. They need to bring on board the political parties, engage them, because we are aware, we know some of their members are engaged in this illegal mining. They should bring them on board so that, as what AB said, we won't have them pushing for different narrative outside or in the media. We all need everybody on board. Thirdly, Joe, we need to set up a consultative review and monitoring committee after this engagement. A consultative review and monitoring committee to review the progress periodically, particularly maybe every 6 months. And that committee must compose of not only government officials, but CSOs and political parties, so that we collectively can track the progress of this. And let me end with this. I have noted that the MPP recently is taking the flag for waking up to the scale of galamsey in this country. I think people are genuine to criticize the MPP for now trying to champion the
now we see officials traveling across the country showing us water bodies. When few months ago, I remember there was a protest. The youth organizer mobilized a counter protest to tell the people to move away from the protest sites.
So I'm saying that it is good Ghanaians are criticizing them, but it is also good that they are waking up to the scale of the massive mess they left behind. But this is my question to them.
I like that.
It's
good you are saying that.
This is my question to them. They must not be more Catholic than the Pope. They must not be crying more than we, the Ghanaians. They must be measured and know that whatever they are doing, they must do to support the government. We have brought this government in power to solve the mess that they created. So they must be measured in what they say, and they must not pontificate.
Yes.
As if they know what is right. When they had opportunity, they didn't do what we expected them to do. So they should keep what they are doing, and we will encourage them to do what they are doing, but they must not be more Catholic than the Pope.
Okay. Prof, I'll give you the final.
Yes, I'm just reading a research by Dr. A.K. Mensah, who has published a lot on this galamsey. And he stated some things. He works for the Center for Scientific Research in Famsia, and he's a very good friend. He sent this, and he talked about the underlying cause of artisanal mining. And then he said that the underlying problems, one is economic. And he talked about poverty and unemployment in the mining communities. And then two, he said it's social, and that is marginalization of people in mining communities and the right of the people to seek justice by digging for survival. Three, he talked about institutional problems, which is lengthy waits, erroneous requirements, and bureaucracies for miners to obtain new licenses. And then he talked about technological problems, which he says advancement in the AMS industry through the use of large equipment. And then the last was political, which he stated involvement on political figures and big men in galamsey. Now, I agree with him in all that he said. So we have to tackle it from the economic front, from the social front, from the institutional front, from the political front, and then finally from making sure that we are all involved in this process. So if we undermine our own existence through gold, and I want to end by what I said from the beginning. I'm told that today is Alan Martin's birthday. Ebo sent that one to me. So happy birthday to him. And I want to say that the rare gold, again, of this nation is the people, not the gold that we are digging from the ground. So if we destroy our water bodies, then we are destroying our gold, which is the people. And we should all be concerned about that.
All right.
I want to also congratulate the new judges, Some of them max time, Court of Appeal judges. Some of them stayed in the High Court for very long. And so,
because of politics?
Well, I don't know. So I think that the right thing has been done. Domahene is one of them. Then my Lord Justice Olivia is also one of them. She stayed there for a very long time. And I think it is right and proper that they go to, and they are one of the finest judges. I've appeared before the two of them, and I know what they can do.
Domahene is Justice Daniel Mensah.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know him as such. Just before we go, we just received this statement coming from Junior Doctors Association Ghana. Withdrawal of service by Junior Doctors Association of Ghana. The Junior Doctors Association of Ghana announces that its members will embark on a nationwide withdrawal of services following months of neglect and unfair treatment of some of its members. Over 200 junior doctors have worked for 10 to 14 months without salaries. Moreover, several medical officers who were previously on payroll have had their salaries stopped without explanation. We also have over 800 medical officers who have been awaiting a posting for the past 1 year, 4 months. And despite repeated engagements with authorities and goodwill shown towards the government, no solutions have been offered. The Junior Doctors Association therefore directs as follows: that all members should 1. withdraw all outpatient services effective Tuesday 7th October to Thursday 9th October, and 2. withdraw emergency services effective Friday 10th October 2025 until further notice. However, inpatients will continue to be managed until discharge, but no new cases will be admitted. The association wishes to make it clear that the continued exploitation of junior doctors will no longer be tolerated, and the responsibility for any disruption of healthcare service lies squarely with the Ministry of Health and the government of Ghana. We call on all stakeholders to act immediately, and it's signed by Dr. Med Louis Ifia Nkrumah. I hope I got that right. The signatures cover the part of the name there. And Dr. Med Rhoda Wunam Amadu, General Secretary of the Junior Doctors Association. Prof, very brief comments and let's go.
Yeah, this demonstration everywhere is coming from the health sector. I don't know, it's scary, very scary. If you go to the hospital and junior doctors are not there, and I don't even know why in Ghana we have senior officers, senior members, senior doctors, and junior doctors. They are all doctors. Why do we let posts like that? They are all doctors. You are all your colleagues. Whether you were a senior, you finished 30 years ago, somebody finished today, you are all colleagues. We like posts too much in Africa. Look, I think the government must sit down with all these blocks and then work with them. Nurses, junior doctors, I don't know if senior doctors will come and Tewu will come and Gawa, and we have a lot of these coming in. And I think that government should sit with them, be proactive. We don't have to wait until they declare that they are going on strike. Then we scramble, go meet them and talk to them. They have to be very proactive and talk to them and then calm the waters, because this is too much. I cannot even process it.
Austin.
Joseph, there are cracks in the health sector. I think it didn't start with what we are witnessing. Don't forget the nurses. Some months away, you remember they withdrew their services because they were not giving their enhanced salary or package. I think the government must focus its attention on the health sector and have a meeting, consultative meeting with them to find out. The problem may be legacy. It may be a legacy issue. So we need to solve the problem. And the government must do that right now.
I mean, Abi, when you hear the doctors say that despite repeated engagement with authorities and goodwill shown towards the government, no solutions have been offered. I mean, it's a problem. We shouldn't get to this point, and you'll have to now embark on this action before. I mean, between now and Tuesday, there's still a bit of time.
I think, I don't want to say something, but you see, if you had your problems 14 months ago when this government was not there, then the government has come. Why do you embark on strike when it's just, this government is not 1 year yet? And there are a lot of things to fix. You see? So rather than embarking on strike, why don't you continue to Jojo, call for meetings, and then if after 1 year, because I know that the finance minister will begin to roll out things next year. Even my place, where I am, I have not received my budget.
Really?
Yes, that's why you have so many accidents like that. Yes, and my work is to reduce accidents. You know, my road safety.
So if I die is on you.
So
I guess you are not going to do the project that you want to do.
We can't do the project that we want to do. So they should exercise patience.
I think it's not really
1 year. This, what the finance minister told, what I heard was that let's stabilize the economy. Then next year, things will begin. He will begin to release funds to all those areas.
Okay.
So I think that the doctors and their leadership should understand that this government just took over 1 year now. It's not up to 1 year. They are putting in place mechanisms. If you call for your pound of flesh, he calls for his pound of flesh. We are going to throw the economy into disarray.
But there's a bigger problem that discussion we have to have, because I mean, over 200 doctors have worked 10 to 14 months without salaries. It's a big
this
problem.
Government
So
is
how
not
do they
up
survive?
to. That's
How
what saying
do they
that
survive?
this government is not up to 10 months.
Okay.
You got your employment from the previous government, and we all know how this economy was until this finance minister came in to stabilize the economy. Your dollar is now fine. Your fuel is fine. Your interest, your whatever rate, your inflation is fine. Next year,
All right.
things will be fine.
I think the government, I understand what AB is saying. The government must communicate those mechanisms to them.
I think so.
Don't forget that they are saying
I
that
think so. Government is not
they
coming.
are saying that they've given the government
yes,
goodwill
yes.
and they've given an opportunity.
Yes.
Tell them.
Yes, I mean, they make that point.
But do we also know it's very expensive for that backlog of payments? So if you're going to pay somebody
No, so
10 months back pay or 14 months back pay, it's more expensive than paying them every month.
Well,
But
on the flip side, their value of money may not even be the same.
They may not be the
Well,
same.
And they're already in debt and everything. So it comes
boils
down
to communication. Tell them. If you cannot pay them in bulk, you tell them we'll pay you in trenches.
yes, so every
Or
quarter
that is-
we'll pay you this.
Communicate to them.
Yes.
I mean, let's see how government resolves all these very important matters. My guest this morning have been Professor Enoch Opokwentry, a governance and policy analyst. Austin Bracco Powers is a legal practitioner.
Enti ensem no na yekuti ye de aba no. Ensem de ebi wo Ghana ha. What you say Ghana de Ghana politics de. What you say? Mfa che me. Ensem de ebi wo Ghana. Na de bia ye ka. Ohe ye Ra John de Mani Mahama. Ni second term ya wabaya. Si ye na ebidi no kore e de amaye ho a. Since 1992, since the inception of our democracy, no, you don't lead the BSC though. And ya bre, and ya crowd is only we can say last time we media engagement and only CSOs, civil society organizations, and also Hong Kong ministry pop up and check. Na a pop up, it be so ever some what you see. Na one of the most serious government abapa in after a year democracy. No. You see, abai we nenia bro. Be put it together no. Nenia bre. So be make sure say Ghana for you ebe hintane ye. Into your Ghana di not one ma. Into ku the boy for no. Into ku the boy for no. And you get what I mean. Ku the boy for no MPP for no. They have sold their conscience to Jandam and what propaganda Ukruma. And no Omonkasa party, even when they are in opposition, party in any amodin. Party in Nina so enti okay, young fan say Ibrahim Hammer, while you're gun and out also one homodin, young farmer MPP for Anna. Omo to me and to two Omonium even internal elections kra na adane akuturuku ye kan say akuturuku bo twede boya omo internal elections e na adane twede boya abuzia. It tells you where the MPP they are heading to. It tells you how incompetent MPP is. And let me tell you, there is no way MPP can lead this country at this time. MPP amanyiko no sisi omo hunya nso yo senka sabi omo ye nipa anase omo ye nipa opeso afi na waso aware anka MPP amanyiko no munya nso aware omo ni omo ho hwe se de mega meti ha ya minimum ho hwe enko omo ni omo ho hwe omo de ware enti de beba ne se aware no munya ware enti se wo ye Ghana ni na wo dwen for say oh ye consider MPP for in 2028 abusia change why dream free so because that would be the worst. I mean, the worst ever That would be the worst because sisi a more hosa omufra ban mu amusika nyinasa omudi sika ni funye omudi bi atoto dan ewo Massachusetts omudi atoto America DC for Washington DC omaye Berlin hefa kese amia bebre ko UK sika omawie kogu anya asanketwa na no mi hu video bi ana santibedi etu nyumbi na mehwɛ video na afenso mi hu se na okita hand crutches bi ana onante na nanante na amise baabi ne nan baabi adwodwo nim se stroke o se yedin yo what I say. And it was very sad and me bi say bedi atu ye ni ambassador at large eni ana the secretary general to the president eni abunyafo it tells you so be do mind so a emfo man ni sika enyeden ento chacha emfo man ni sika enye de opeso de ye na wi achi na ebisa wa be can stories e de akire know how to use Ghana's money. Me video ni na me rehoye na me bisa me ho se nipa kra ye giden wa asase so unya wiase ni ma nyina wi na wo hwere okra what will you gain? So unya wiase ni ma we nyina wi na wo hwere okra what will you gain as a human being? Na wo kra hefa e na wo kɔ mo ma ye ndwin ho politicians am kra na mo ye greedy and people the crowd enka ni kwesen ke mo chance just an inch sen komun ben Jubilee House en komun twam ho kra ka mu Jubilee House en mu kra nka ai akra ha enka Jubilee House en mu kra en komun twam ho enka ni kwan kra se ye mo chance mo twam Jubilee House en mu ho no ye mo chance o mo di omo ni se kohwe ho because o ma bo man no and also NDC and modi gugu akwan mu the initiatives and kokon ketinkiti adwuma pa adwuma wura na bibisa omo lanche and I mean you see omo reset your mind kakra sani ebu omo yonko for we dey ba ye dey eno tigu so tuto obie fumbi eni se Ghana adam panyo eni se Ghana adam panya ne nurses omusu se omu 10 months salary nka sai sika we asanti bedi atu sika na omu ID birthday party sika na omu di kinofurata omu di kowura national cathedral mu sika sabi omu di sese sika bebre na omu se no kuruma nko betimi di atua sa nurses foyi nurses nko betimi di atua omuka enso enehwe ye sister no ye maame no hwan omu nsu ba ko be di akwade na re ho sem ba bi ofira okọ adwuma no 10 months di omu ntua ne kan sad tuti Ghana ha okọ school wie na wunya bana adwuma ya na eye ana so wan ko school ni bi na wa yo business na eye it is sad it abusia and people for the moment show mu ye pa because omanu de they will find a way to come close to power. They will find a way to drag them outside the power. More chance. They have no chance in the next 3 elections. So only chance so be Ghana kumbiana. I was see keep in the position on to some best so my dream. Here who seem for a good initiative about mobile dream of mine and I will say a mom sign a bond of good behavior before say be mom be Ghana so. And yes, you fitting any at all by your mo. Now, I was a first bomia and yet flag bearer. Secondly, leadership no, a total overhaul. Be yin for film. Here, who said you're having good leadership, and some people for you consider the next election. You consider more, and this hadia. Yamutu, yentimin for Mumbabio. Yentimin for Mumma. Yana dear NDC for buy. Yebemo mo yejuma. Ya criticize them. What in a mature say? Etabusia Sana nkomo no ɛte kyerɛ wadwen comment section ni makra wo bye bye.